Hello again, everybody, and welcome to a new edition of You Bet CaneSport with Lee Sterling, our weekly look at the Miami Hurricanes from the betting perspective. I'm Gary Furman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined by Lee Sterling himself, and we got the Miami Hurricanes hosting Syracuse, of all teams, at Hard Rock Stadium this Saturday. And Lee, I have a feeling that Mario and the Canes are going to get their revenge, at least as much as you can, for that big L that they took up there in the Carrier Dome last year. Syracuse is kind of limping into town. But you know what? Before we talk football, I want to talk basketball with you for a moment, because I went to the Canes season opening basketball game the other night, and they have a team of 13 players that have never played a second together with each other. And, you know, I'm just sitting there hanging out, waiting for the game to start. I open up my Hard Rock Bet app, and I look, and I see the Vegas has made the line. Miami an 18-point favorite. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how the hell are they making a line on this game? This team has never played together. Sure enough, the game starts, it unfolds, the game ends, and you know what? Miami wins by 17 points. And Lee, how do they do it? I mean, like, how do they come up with a line in a situation like that? And then how do they hit it almost right on the number?
It's not easy. Let me tell you that. I mean, there's a few other teams, believe it or not, that are almost in the same situation, or they have one or two players back. I mean, it's crazy. And some of these teams, I'm looking up, there's some colleges that are playing the first couple of weeks of the season. I've never even heard of the college. So I'm not making this up. There was a team in Colorado something. Colorado Coventry or something like that. I found a video of last year, and they were playing with wood backboards. I kid you not. I couldn't believe it. I mean, the next thing we're going to see is, peach baskets. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, what teams will do, to get a team in, to get a victory, but they got to play someone, and these are paycheck schools. A lot of these schools, and you got to get something going here, but crazy. Did you bet the game, or did you sit?
Of course, I didn't bet the game. How could you bet the game? I've never seen, other than I saw the team in practice. They look pretty good, but I'll tell you what, Jacksonville was better than I expected them to be. I'll tell you that.
There's talent throughout the country. I mean, there's a lot of talent. I've seen a lot. There was a Division II school from Hawaii. Everyone remembers Chaminade, their huge upset that they had. Beating Ralph Sampson back in the day. But there's a team that beat from Division II school from Hawaii, ended up beating Boise State opening night, Tuesday night. So anything can happen. A lot of these games, until I've seen a team once, I'm not going to give it out. I'll give out a Duke game. Duke was playing Texas, gave that out. We were on the right side. But, some of these teams I have no clue at all about. I'm not that desperate.
All right, let's get back to football here. Like I said, the Canes are hosting Syracuse, what I expect to be a get-well game, kind of, and Miami kind of needs one like this. The line is 28.5. Miami obviously favored. Syracuse is a mess. I mean, they don't know who's going to play quarterback. They got three different candidates. One of them, I think, is even a former lacrosse player or something that they pulled off a campus, or or whatever. You probably know more than me on this one, but Miami to me needs a happy game. A game where a lot of guys get to play, a lot of scoring, a big margin of victory. Just something to get the train back on the tracks as they go into North Carolina State the next week, which we'll be talking about next week. But that, to me, is a little bit of a trickier game than people might think. But will Miami cover the spread this weekend?
Well, let's first look back at last week. We were very disappointed. Talent-wise, we were better. I mean, Mario might say differently. We were the better team. There was no doubt. We were out-coached. We were outplayed. Turning points, I thought they should have gone for the field goal, as do many people. Put them up 6. Worst case scenario, the other team scores, just got to kick a field goal to win the game. And if you have a poor kicker, maybe I can understand going for it. But it was a long 1 yard. Hadn't had success doing it. Don't like the play calling in the fourth down. We're not getting push in a lot of these third and short and fourth and short situations. So we got to come up with some different plays. So let me go back to you about my handicapping and the way I see things. If I was a coach and I had as much talent as Mario, I would speed up the game. So I've actually met when my father was a coach, flew out and met Sid Gilman. I know you probably know the name, back at the Chargers. He was one of the first offensive gurus.
Oh, that was way before I was born, Lee. Come on.
Yeah, right. So his whole philosophy was, hey, I don't have the horses to beat up on some of these teams. And Miami thinks, at least Mario thinks they do. So I'm going to try to get players in one-on-one situations. You want to take advantage of situations so you can win a game. And to me, the best way to take advantage when you have more talent is to speed up the game. Go and hurry up. Why do you do that? Well, if you have only 8 or 9 possessions, if you have 2 or 3 turnovers, there's a greater chance you're going to lose the game. If you have 13 or 14 possessions, even if you have 2 or 3 possessions, much greater chance you're going to win. So that's my whole feeling. And that's why I feel that top 10, top 15 teams that have a lot of talent, we've got 3 running backs, you got a bunch of receivers, and you got depth, a lot more than most teams. That's why I would go hurry up and try to create more possessions. But for some reason, Mario doesn't want to do it. So the missed field goal, well, not the missed field goal, not going for the field goal was certainly frustrating. And then the penalties. You know, I grew up, I'm going to date myself here again, during the Don Shula days. I used to go to see their practices. They used to drill over and over. Cadence, snap counts, not jumping off sides, offense and defense. And we had a lot more penalties than championship teams have. I mean, throw out, undisciplined teams. Okay. We're not seeing as much of that late hits, on the sidelines as we used to see back in the day. And then there's also the officiating. Miami's going to get home job. It's always going to happen.
Crazy.
So I went through it in high school, playing at a Miami high school. Every time we played a school, I'm telling you, going above West Palm Beach, home job. I'll never forget the state playoff game one time. I get hit in the face. Guy goes through my face mask. Literally 2 seconds after I threw the ball, bust my nose. It's still busted. It's been busted twice. And I looked at the referee, and I just gave him the sign, like, what do you think? And he goes to me, son, if you know what's good for you, you get back in the huddle. So you date back to data, the 2017 season when we were 10-0, they did not call an offensive holding penalty on any team that Miami played until the Pitt game, last game of the regular season. And this year, I think they're calling teams for, less than half the penalties than they're calling us on. So, I mean, you're not going to get the calls, it, and you got to overcome it. So that's just my 2, 3, or 4 cents on what's going on. So I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in the ratings. We shouldn't be 18th. We should be 13th or 14th at the most. And somehow we're going to have to win out. And you know what? You got to put points up on the board. This is a team you can do it against. Watch the film last week against North Carolina. Somehow, North Carolina is so bad. Syracuse was leading at the half, 10-6. They're playing a quarterback last week, Joseph Filardi. This kid, much higher recruited as a lacrosse player. In fact, he was the number 25th highest lacrosse player. You talk about dual threat players. Yeah, he's a dual sport player, but more for lacrosse. Rated 25th and number 4 defenseman in the country. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the lacrosse team. I don't know why he's going out for football, why he would want to subject himself to the beatdown. He's not good. 4 for 18 for 39 yards. They have a couple running backs that run hard, but they can't block well for him, can't tackle on defense, can't cover. They need to lay like a 51-3 spot on this team and win big. I like Miami minus 28.5. If they can't cover this game, we got some real big problems.
I bet you they gave that quarterback a big NIL deal. I bet you that's how they got him to come out.
What, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000? Trust me.
I
They're not
don't
paying
know.
this kid.
I'm sure they gave him something. But one more thing before we get on to some other games. The over under before the season for Miami, I believe, was 9.5, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, we're right there. I mean, with 2 losses, probably going to come out on one side or the other of it. And just amazing how they forecast these things in advance when we're watching the season play out. I mean, we're thinking Miami's going to win every game at one point, the way they were looking earlier in the season, and just doesn't somehow play out that way. And it's just amazing how this stuff evolves. But all right, a couple other games I wanted to talk about. They're euphoric up there in Manny Diaz land.
Yep.
Okay. All we're hearing, Manny. Manny's got a better record than Mario, a better win percentage than Mario. Manny's great. Yada, yada, yada. Up there at Duke, they somehow beat Clemson 45-44. I mean, absolutely insane that Duke was able to score that many points. I mean, I guess they got their investment in the quarterback all cashed in on one day. But they're now 9.5 points favored over UConn. They're going to UConn. I know nothing about UConn. I know you do. I'm looking for Duke to start tripping up a little bit down here. I just can't imagine that Duke is going to be and this is a non-conference game, obviously, but they play Virginia the next week. And I don't know, man. I have a hard time believing Duke's going to make it to the ACC championship game. But what do you see from Duke this week? Are their lines starting to get a little big?
Well, this is the true sandwich game. They won last week against Clemson. They got to be on a high. Next week, they got to play at home against Virginia. Jim Moore, the coach for UConn, I think he's a good coach. This is a guy that, things just didn't work out for him, but he's doing a good job with this UConn team. They just didn't compete against Rice in the triple option. Who knows what happened? But last week, they looked really good against UAB. UAB's not much at all. This is a big game to them. And Duke is just not one of these teams that can run the ball. And that's how you got to beat this UConn team. So they like to throw the ball. When you throw the ball, 2 out of 3 things that happen are bad: interceptions, incompletions. Also, UConn defense, pretty opportunistic, +10 in turnovers. This is just like one of these weird, wonky games. I think Duke might pull it out. I have them winning the game something like 34-30, but I'm taking the points here in UConn. This shouldn't be close to a double-digit game. I think UConn's going to keep it with a 1 score. Wouldn't shock me if they pull off the outright upset. So take the points here in UConn. Manny Diaz might go down. I don't think we'll be too upset if that happens.
To me, then they have Virginia at home, at North Carolina, and Wake Forest at home. Wake Forest could be interesting.
Up and down.
Yeah, but they could give them a hard time, and the Virginia game is going to be interesting. I mean, I wasn't too impressed the last time I watched Virginia. It just amazes me that Miami's not going to win the ACC this year. It's just absolutely amazing.
Same old ACC.
Yeah,
a couple teams start out strong, and then we're usually one of them. We end up taking a couple losses.
Yeah, and this thing where everybody doesn't play everybody becomes a factor. I mean, I'm looking at the Duke schedule. They don't play Louisville. They don't play SMU. They do play Clemson, and they somehow won at Clemson, 46-45 was the score. That's to their credit. Let's put it that way. But they really don't play anybody else.
Well, you want to play Stanford and Cal. Both those teams you want to take the way. I'll even fly out there now. So, two bad teams, and someone's going to have to come to the forefront, or I would not be shocked if the ACC is no more, or some teams bolt after this year, even if the money is huge.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in that regard. All right, so we're taking UConn in the points plus 9.5. Very interesting game. You got Texas -7 at Texas A&M, rather -7 at Missouri. I'm sorry. Texas A&M, are they for real, Lee? I mean, they just keep marching on. But could this be the place at Missouri where they run into a little bit of a problem?
I don't. They might lose in a playoff game, but I don't see them losing any regular season games. They have Texas coming up in a couple games. This quarterback that they got, Marcel Reed, I think he's the best dual threat quarterback in the country. He's got 2 receivers averaging over 15 and almost 18 yards per reception. On the other hand, Missouri, they had a dual threat quarterback, Bo Prabella. He wasn't great at reading defenses, but he could run also. They gave Alabama a game, but they got to go with a true freshman. The kid might end up being really good, Matt Zollers, but true freshman, and he does stare down his receivers. So not real good right now looking off receivers, and his best tight end / they flex him out a lot. Brett Norfleet, game time decision with a shoulder injury. I don't really believe in their defense. They're one of these teams that beats the bad teams, can never beat anyone good. In fact, under Eli Drinkwitz, who is being talked about maybe being the next Florida head coach, he's one of the favorites. 0-6 straight up against top 10 teams here under Drinkwitz. It's 6.5, 7. I like A&M here. I think they win this game something like 28-17, 30-17. They're one of the few teams outside of Ohio State, no real weakness. So I'll take A&M. I think they're the right side, at least for another week or two.
I like that record. 0-6 against good teams. Let them go to Gainesville. Take them, Florida. Please, please take them.
Right.
All right. We got LSU, still coachless, going to Alabama. Alabama's a 10-point favorite. What do you think of that game?
Yeah, Alabama's coming off playing and beating 5 straight ranked opponents. So after that loss opening week to Florida State, they've looked great. Coaches like Florida's Billy Napier and Penn State's James Franklin, usually after the coaches are fired, you don't see much of a bump because they're playing hard anyway for the coach. They like him. LSU's Brian Kelly might be different. He was disliked. I mean, outside of Lou Holtz, one of the most disliked coaches by his players, maybe other coaches, and the alumni. Administration's trying to get the alumni back in here. And I mean, this is a team with a lot of history here, and it's clearly one of the top 2 or 3 biggest rivalry games, even still. LSU's raw numbers are not good on offense. They haven't scored more than 25 points in the SEC game this year. They're ranked 124th out of 136 rushing teams. But remember, it's a rivalry game. Throw out all the numbers, and, we've seen some crazy games, Auburn, Alabama, and in this series here. I also think Alabama's good. I think this is one of those years I don't think there's a great team. They didn't cover against South Carolina. They pushed in their game against Missouri. I just don't think this is a great Alabama team either here. So I think LSU's really talented. They haven't just played up to their potential. Their quarterback, Nussmeier, I like him a lot. One reason or another haven't clicked here, and maybe they lay it all out here. I'll take the 10 points. Ooh. I have Alabama winning 30-26. Wouldn't shock me if LSU pulls off the stunner here also, just to stick it, to Brian Kelly. Say, you know what? This is what you could have had if you treated us a lot better.
Just a little nicer, yeah. All right, Lee. Well, interesting week as always, and I like the idea of the Canes putting 51 up on the board and a 51-3 victory. If you're right, could absolutely be what the doctor ordered for Mario Cristobal and this program. So we'll see what happens on Saturday afternoon at Hard Rock Stadium. ParamountSports.com. You see the information on the bottom of the screen. 1-800-400-9741. Lee, any specials this week?
Yep. November continues our phone service from now through the end of the month. Normally $4.97 if they use coupon code SAVE200, SAVE200. Put it in the box. There's a little box in the checkout area, and brings the price down to $2.97. We rate the games from 10 to 50 units. That way, the strength of the play, and call in once a day and you get the plays. There's games every single night. You're going to get 12 to 15 plays a week. So not November, we call it Dovember. $2.97 with coupon code SAVE200. ParamountSports.com.
Alrighty, for Lee Sterling, I'm Gary Furman. Thank you so much for joining us this week, everybody, and we'll see you next time.